joining us this morning for the next installment of Having a Good Conversation. I want to thank all of you for submitting all of your brilliant questions and topics. And for today's topic, we wanted to discuss 3 things that you need to think about as you aspire in your career. So you think that it would be simple, right? What are the 3 basic things that you need to think about as you grow into your career? But for many people, either entering a career, in the middle of your career, or exiting your career, sometimes not following some of these 3 simple rules have made it very difficult for us. And so the team have asked me to come and reflect on what are the 3 things that I think are important for any individual to think through as they progress in their career. So it would give you no surprise that the first thing that one needs to think about is having a mentor or a coach. Now, some people think about those 2 concepts very differently, and so we'll use the term interchangeably today. But let me share just how important having a mentor is. For me, having a mentor is the person that will allow you to sound some of the things that you're thinking about or having a challenge today, and will give you an honest opinion or feedback around some of the challenges that you may have. And so as I started my career, I was blessed to have many different mentors and coaches through this learning process. And if I did not have the mentor and coach through this process, I think I would have had a lot tougher task in where I am today. Now let me share with you that there are many ways of approaching having a mentor or coach. And so one could look within your organization, somebody that you aspire to, who's been in the organization long, to help coach and mentor you through your progression. However, many organizations have what we call top talent or high potential programs. And if your organization has one of them, then certainly within those programs, there's an opportunity for you to be assigned a coach outside of your organization to help you think through some of the challenges and help you become a master in what you're trying to achieve. But many times, we don't focus on the simple coaches in life, and so within your personal space or in your family space, there are many people that have got a lot of experience who's gone through this journey. And so I would say that we shouldn't be shy or shy away from having that mentor or coach from somebody within your community or within your family who has got lots of lived experiences that can give you honest and critical feedback, as well as help sponsor you into doing some critical things in your career. So again, to reflect, what is one of the important things to have? I would say is to have a mentor and a coach to think about that. Now, let's talk about the second thing that you need to think about that are important tips for your career. And the second one is a very interesting one for me, and that is the hunger for learning. You know, I've worked for many multinational organizations, and I look at the organization where I am today. And many times we can become complacent where we think we know it all. And you know, when you reach a point where you think you know it all is really the time where you need to start learning. And so I would say that that hunger for learning is so critically important for every single one of us as we move through this career journey that we have. Some things to think about is many new concepts, particularly I'll talk about from a sales perspective. There's this idea around having a growth mindset or thinking about a challenger mentality. Right? And in the growth mindset, Carol Dweck wrote an amazing book that helps us think about having a different mindset to achieve greatness. And even the challenger methodology, again, a great methodology to think through, but just learning through those methodologies allows us to build different muscles within our character. But the key point I want to make here, folks, is that the hunger to learn must never cease. And in your career, if you have that hunger to learn, you'll always aspire to greatness. And I think it's very important that I share that second great tip with you, that idea of continuous learning really will stand you in very good stead. The last one is one that I often laugh about, and it's around this idea of preparing. And I always say that failing to prepare is preparing to fail, right? And I think about many of the one-on-one conversations I have with people in my team, right? I've got a massive team that I look after at HPE, and I probably spend 2 or 3 days a month just on doing one-on-ones with my team. And there's one individual that I want to call out particularly within my team that is really an example of somebody that prepares really, really well. And I think that this gentleman is setting himself up for greatness in this IT industry. And Chris, my last one-on-one with Chris was really an amazing one. And I want to share this thing about being prepared. Whenever this gentleman comes to my one-on-ones, he has every single one of the questions that he wants to ask me, some of the challenges that he have written down, and he's very clear around what he wants to achieve out of that meeting. And so I'm always surprised because I make copious amounts of notes, but I mean Chris really prepares really well for these, and it just shows me the kind of individual that he is, the kind of thought that he puts into what he does, and as a senior leader in the business, that kind of thinking really is encouraging to me as a leader, that we have these kind of people in the organization. So that preparedness is very important. But there's a second element that really surprised me in my last one-on-one in preparedness is always creating that opportunity to teach and to learn. And in particular, this last session I had is where he created a teaching moment for me. He said, boss, I've got lots of things I want to get through today that's important for me in my one-on-one. But I wanted to ask you this question, boss. And the question I have for you is, why are you so busy? I'm worried that you are so busy and that you are taking on too much. And generally, I would respond with a very quick quote or a smart comment, but he stopped me in my tracks, and he allowed me to think and reflect. And my response to Chris was, Chris, you're actually right. Perhaps I need to go back to the old way of doing things, where at least once every 2 weeks I take 1 day's leave just to connect with my family. You know, I've got 3 beautiful daughters, one at university and 2 in primary school. And what my commitment to him is I'm going to take at least once every 2 weeks a day of leave to reconnect with things that are important to me as well. And so in his preparedness, he allowed me to bring out some more important things for me. And that's that teaching moment or that learning moment. And so I want to just say to you folks is, when you think about the 3 principles, this idea around preparing is so important, and you can think about that in the whole evolution of your life. And so the 3 things that I want you to reflect on today as you either start your journey, or you're in the middle of your journey, or exiting your journey, are the 3 things that I spoke about today. The one thing that's very important naturally is that you get a good coach and a good mentor, very important. The second thing is this hunger to learn. And then the last thing is to prepare, right? And so I think that for me, taking those 3 elements into account were very important to me. And I thought that I would share with you, and in particular share some of the preparedness, because again, in many of the interviews I have with young people wanting to join organizations, the ones that really stand out are the ones that really prepare well to come and have a conversation around starting a new career here at HPE or any of the organizations I work for. So I hope that these 3 conversation points are something that you can embrace. It's something that you can pick up from, and I hope that you can put into action, because they are simple things that you can start off with. And very importantly, if you like the conversations we're having, please do reach out on the platform. Tell us what you want us to come have a conversation about. And I'll take some of my time to come and share with you and bring some of the life experiences that I've picked up over the last 20 or so odd years in the IT industry across many multinational companies, including IBM, Microsoft, and even HPE. So folks, thank you very much for joining us, and I really hope that you enjoy this conversation and that you can take some of the stuff and apply it as you start your career or as you journey in your career. Thank you very much and enjoy.